Are you working with someone you can't stand? We've all been there. Working with people I want to punch in the throat has been called relatable and laugh out loud hilarious. Read the stories about all the crazy people Jen Mann has worked with over the years. Find out who she wants to punch in the throat. Working with people I want to punch in the throat is now available everywhere books are sold.
Hi, welcome to Two Midlife Mommas.
I'm Jen Mann.
And I'm Denise Grover-Swank, and I almost forgot my name.
I don't know when you're going to listen to this, but we are back for our first day since the Christmas break, and it's going to be a little rough today.
We haven't done this since November, so it's been a little bit. Yeah. Well, okay, so here's the deal, is like when I sign things for my kids at school, I have to like stop and think because I'm so used to signing Denise Grover-Swank. But if I do that, my kids hate that when I sign Denise Grover-Swank for schoolwork. So, so I don't know. I was like, I'd signed a couple things for my kids this morning. So I was like in the mode of don't put Grover. And then I was like, Denise, wait, am I Grover-Swank or just like...
Just DGS.
There you go.
You just need to be Denise. Just one name now.
There
I think
you go.
You've earned that now. Okay, so I have to say really quick though, because we did get a message from a listener who says that we never look at the camera. So I said that today we'd look at the camera.
Oh, do people actually watch the YouTube video?
So at least one person does.
Okay. Hello, one person. Hello.
She was like, it would be really nice if sometimes you guys would look at the camera.
Okay.
And so,
we should put something interesting up there to look at.
Well, I guess we're the interesting things to look at.
I know, but like, we should to make ourselves look
over there.
Yeah.
Oh, we could. Yeah. I mean, you have beautiful shelves of stuff to look at.
There's a lot of stuff up there. But you know what? So my daughter's got one of those boards with the little letters that you can put in there. And so we should like put a new message up every time. And
okay.
Just, it can be something not on camera and it could be something really strange.
Something just to make us laugh and smile when we look over there. But yeah, she was like, it'd be nice if you guys looked at the camera sometimes. Some of us are watching on YouTube. And I was like, I told her that we kind of forget. She's lucky that like we're not picking our nose or something.
I know, right? I know. Well, I was really conscious of it when we first started.
Yes.
And as you can see today, I'm not even thinking of the camera. I have on no makeup. My hair's pulled back.
Well, that was everything she said. She reminded me that at one point we said we were going to do this in our pajamas. And so she was like, maybe you guys will do it in your pajamas. And so
today I actually thought about that this morning.
Well, I had a doctor's appointment today, so I actually got dressed. But when I showed up, I thought, I could have done jammies. Like I should have just brought my jammies with me.
Okay,
but
we'll do it next time.
Because in my mind, I kept thinking like I can't do that because I can't. I do have some standards, not a whole lot, but it's a new doctor.
Well, this is like a new level of like past a little vanity. Like I guess not up, down.
Hey man, new year, new us, right?
That's right.
The bar is going lower.
I had a deadline this morning for a book.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did, and like I did not finish my book. However, that's not uncommon. So my poor editor Angela, she's so used to that. I'm like, and I always pay her extra for that, and I call it a PETA fee. Like I literally do. I like put a couple $100 extra bucks on there, call it the PETA fee, and I'm like. I wonder if she would like be really disappointed if I turned it all in on time, because then she wouldn't get that extra couple $100. Like she's not actually like waiting for it. Like she's already started on the part I sent, and like I told her I send the last 2 chapters tomorrow, so it's not like it's gonna like majorly inconvenience her, except she's got to copy and paste it. But I always feel like a total loser when I don't turn a book in on time. So.
Wow.
Anyway, but like I tried really hard to send as much as I could. So I was up till like 2 a.m, and then I got up at 5 to keep writing. So
I can't believe you agreed to do this today. I would have canceled.
I canceled you last time, and
I would have done it again.
I am not canceling.
No, I would have canceled me. Like there's no way.
There was about a time about 9:30 this morning. I was feeling a little like loopy. Like, oh my god, what am I going to say on these podcasts today? Might be kind of fun.
Plus, we're already kind of weird because it's like our kids' first day back. Yeah, and so it was already kind of chaos this morning anyway.
Yes.
And you should have canceled me. I'm sorry.
No, we're good. We're good. Because I'm like so like I don't know. I needed a break from that book.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well,
even though I got to go back and finish the last 2 chapters.
Still, that's amazing. I'm so impressed with how much you can get done. Like, meanwhile, I'm still trying to finish a chapter. So good for you. Book will kill me. So, speaking of books, though.
Yes.
So, today I wanted to talk about books because, I mean, we are writers, but we're both huge readers.
Yes.
And I think first and foremost, I consider myself a reader more than a writer. A lot of times I feel like I love to read.
Yeah.
I don't know that I love to write. Like reading never feels like a chore, but writing sometimes does. Like when you're trying to hit those deadlines.
I was just thinking about this morning about how sometimes it feels like it's more of a chore to write books now than it used to. Like some of the joy that I used to have writing books is gone, and I'm like trying to figure out how to get that back. So,
well, to me, it's become a job.
Yes,
which it's still the best job I've ever had. Don't get me wrong. Please, don't fire me.
Yeah, no, I love my job. Right, but, it's the best job I've ever had.
Yeah, but like when we used to do it, sort of like for quote unquote fun, or like when we would do it just sort of when we wanted or how we wanted. But like now that it's like we have deadlines and we have contracts and we have like things which. And so now it's sometimes...
I remember to look at the camera.
So sometimes that takes the joy out, at least for me. But whereas reading, I'm always happy to read. Like I always can find time to read, I feel like.
Yeah.
So what I suggested to Denise yesterday, I sent her a message and I was like, what if we did like our favorite books that we read in 2019?
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily need to be published in 2019. Right. I'm really bad about reading like new releases.
Yeah, no, me too.
Spoiler alert, I get a lot from the library because my bookshelves are full.
Yeah.
And, you can wait 6 months to get a new release.
Yeah.
And so I tend to read sort of older stuff or what I can grab quickly on my Kindle.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting in an airport somewhere and I need something new or what's recommended. I'm always looking, there's tons of people I follow that I trust their recommendations. Yeah. And so I pretty much will buy anything they say.
Right.
But I like to take risks on new people from the library.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Then there's no monetary commitment to that.
Until I decide I love them and then I buy everything.
Right. Yeah. So you're not a member of KU, Kindle Unlimited, then?
I'm not. Okay. Are you?
I am, but I don't use it very often.
Yeah.
Because I like to get paid for books. So like if I borrow a book and then I don't read it, then the author doesn't get paid.
Yeah.
So I'll usually buy books that are in Kindle Unlimited. Although, I don't know if you've noticed, well, you're not because you're not in Kindle Unlimited. So if you are in Kindle Unlimited, there's a big button that says borrow in Kindle Unlimited or something like that. And then a little tiny print is buy it for whatever the price is.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't. Now, see, I am in Prime, so I just found out literally a month ago that I get free books through Prime.
Yeah.
Which I had no idea.
Okay, yeah.
Because somebody one of my friends had a new book come out, and I saw it. I don't know. I think I got an email about it or something. So I was like, I want to go pre-order that book. And when I went, it told me I got it for free because I was a Prime person. And I'm like, what is this magic? And all my readers were like, duh. Like,
was it a Kindle first?
It was a Kindle.
Because if you got it on pre-order, because like Amazon will put a book out, some books out a month early, and it's called a Kindle First.
Okay, so I don't know any of this stuff. I need to learn all that stuff. That's why I hang out with Denise because she knows all this stuff.
I'll learn you.
But I just felt like the Kindle Unlimited stuff. Like I love the library, and I feel like as a writer, I get paid by the library. They buy my books, but. The Kindle Unlimited, I've heard a lot of negativity. From
I do not like having
writers.
Books in Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah,
you get paid for less than half a cent a page.
That stinks.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas I love having people, who want to read unlimited. I get that, but for me as a writer, I just don't think that's where my stuff belongs.
Yeah,
so,
and I think it depends on the genre.
Yeah.
So like I have my fantasy and urban fantasy stuff. I often put that in Kindle Unlimited because that's where those readers are. They are on other platforms, but not as much as Amazon. Where my mysteries and my romance, those readers are wide, so I keep all that stuff wide. So it depends on the genre.
Okay. Yeah. See, and I do like BookBub though. I will like discount my stuff and buy an ad in BookBub or something like that. Yes. And I'm a BookBub subscriber, and I love to buy books through that. And me so. Too. To me, that's a great way to take a chance, too. And I think probably if you look at my BookBub, I probably have a whole bunch that I've
So do you listen to audiobooks?
Not as much.
Okay.
No. Do you like audiobooks?
I have started. Like, I didn't used to listen to them. Like, half the books on my list were audiobooks. So I had to look through, because when we were coming up with the list, I like looked through my Amazon buys and my Audible shelves and my Goodreads. And so if you love audiobooks, there's a new thing, and I think it might be owned by BookBub. It's called Chirp.
I get that. I subscribe to that one. Yes. Because I think for me, audiobooks, I think I would consume more books because I think that's part of my problem.
And that's how I read as much as I did last year.
Yeah, was that I just wasn't reading. I'm not finding as much time to sit down and read a book.
Me too.
But yet people were saying, oh, I fold laundry while I listen to an audiobook.
And I've done that. Like when I was driving the kids back and forth to school, I was in the car a lot.
Driving makes me tired. Audiobooks make me sleepy.
Really?
Yes. I have to listen to podcasts in the car. But because I tried an audiobook once when I was driving to like Minneapolis and I was like drowsy.
That is not good.
No. Yeah, so I was like, okay, I got to figure something else out.
Yeah.
So I think I need to be walking or, doing moving. Physical something to listen to it. I just haven't. And it's hard for me to keep track of the story sometimes when I listen to it.
Yeah, sometimes I have to go back because I get distracted. So like what I would do is I'd drive, if I was coming home before I got my office, I would drive them to school and then come home. And if I was like really into the story, then I would like do housework so I could instead of going to work, like instead of doing my job, I would keep lissing.
That's what I've heard. That you'll keep working. So maybe it's a good idea for me to try it.
I try. So I've been getting Chirp, but yesterday for the first time I actually bought a book from Chirp because I didn't really know how it worked. Yeah. And so I thought maybe it would be like BookBub and send you to another site. Yes. But no, I think authors upload. I don't know how it works, how the authors get their books on there, but you actually buy the book from Chirp and get their app.
So not from Audible or whatever.
No.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I get the emails,
I may try to do that with my books. So
I haven't done that yet. And I don't find that my readers listen to my books on audio as much. Like, I've only got a few and I can see the sales and I can see the and it just is not. I don't think that's something that they listen. I don't think they listen to my stuff on audio. I don't know.
See, mine do. Mine are becoming more and more audio listeners, and so I was trying to like work ahead so I could finish a book 2 months ahead and then get it recorded and have audio release around the same time. Idea. But then I did this paranormal women's fiction book, and that threw me off. So that's not happening.
You'll get there.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so your book, you went and recorded an audiobook. Speaking of audiobooks, have you had any feedback from readers about that?
I've had a few email me and say that they've listened to it and that, no one's like, oh my God, you deserve an Emmy or anything, but
I think my readers would probably get a kick out of me reading something and listening to it on audiobook. So I wondered if they would be like, they would be really excited that it was you reading it and not a narrator, since it's like nonfiction in your words, so even more so for you.
So they think they much prefer that for the People on Punch and Throat books and stuff like that. And so I still have one more. I have the Working with People on Punch and Throat that I haven't recorded yet, and so I need to get that one recorded. But I think like I said, I don't like to listen to it, so I don't know. I think it sounds okay.
So can you listen to your own books if someone else narrates them?
Probably.
Have you tried it?
I had. Well, I listened to it when it was narrated. So People I Want to Punch and Throat was narrated by someone else originally.
Right.
And I listened to that. And, and it was just kind of different. It was just weird to hear someone, because they are such personal stories.
Oh, and
to hear someone else calling my kids, and my husband, their kids and their husband.
Right. And, wait a minute, that's not right.
Yeah, and I think that's what kind of freaked out some of my readers too, because they were just like, this is not what Jen sounds like.
Right.
And so I think it was hard for them to get into it. So I don't know. I think it's better, especially for like memoir stuff like what I write. I think it's better for me to record it. Yeah. Whether I think it sounds better or not, I don't know. But I just think the whole package probably is better.
No, I completely agree.
But if it were fiction, no, I would want someone else to do it, because they do much better with like voices and that kind of stuff that I can't do.
I would suck at that. Yeah, not gonna lie.
Well, and you have such distinct, like, what am I trying to say? Like, you have. Your characters they all have their own sort of lexicon, even, I feel like. And so to try and do some of those I can do it in my head, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna when I'm reading your books, but I'm not gonna try and attempt that.
Shannon McManus is my usual narrator, and she's very, very good at that.
Yeah.
So good. God bless her. I don't want to do it. Like, I've been asked, do you want to read a chapter in front of an audience? And I'm like, no.
I hate doing that, though.
I do not.
Yeah. I don't ever do that. I tell stories in front of people, but I never read because I think it's really boring when I read.
Me too. I don't want to hear myself read, and I don't think anybody else wants to.
So I'll just tell them a funny story, and I'm like, if you like that funny story, you'll love this book.
Yeah. And if you have a narrator who can get the inflections and the voices, no, that's not me.
No, no.
Okay, so we're going to do our top 10 reads of 2019.
Yeah. Okay, so you go first. You tell me what you got.
Okay, well, I did not put them in any particular order.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay, so the first one I have is Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple. I don't even know when that book came out.
I don't either, but it was
maybe
a while ago.
2018?
Especially since we just went to see the movie together in 2019. Yes. I think it's been a while.
Yeah, and I think I saw it. I think I read it because the movie was coming out. So I wanted to, So I have a friend, Trisha, who likes to go see movies that are based on books, and she always wants to read the book first, and I don't always do that. So she's always nagging me, "You've got to read the book first." And I'm like, "No, I don't."
I'm with Trisha,
but I did it this time, and I was glad I did. I really liked it. So, but it was one of those hot books of the year, and I'm kind of I'm a nonconformist. So if everybody's reading it, there's a little rebel in me. It's I'm not going to read that.
Right.
So, and then oftentimes somebody will say a book's really great and I don't really like it that much.
Yes,
so just because the masses love it doesn't mean I'm going to love it.
Or I feel like the hype is so big that I'm sort of maybe if I'd read it before I knew it was such a great book, I might have liked it.
It's if the expectations are so high, they just can't possibly live up to it.
Although I don't have this book on my list, but I'm thinking of a couple of years ago, it was The Nightingale, Kristen Hanna.
Oh, yes.
I had never read anything by Kristen Hanna. And everybody was talking about this book. Everybody was like, "Jen, you have to read it." And I was like, "It's historical fiction. I don't read a lot of that. It's massive. I don't know."
Yeah.
I couldn't stop talking about it.
Oh, really?
I still think about that book.
Okay.
So
I have a book like that on my list, too.
Good.
So we'll get to that later.
So that one lived up to the hype. But that was a few years ago. I couldn't put it on my list this year. But I did put The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna.
Oh, okay. And I haven't read that.
That one, and I wrote my notes. So I put notes beside my books so I'd remember what I wrote.
But I didn't. And for the camera.
Mine too.
I'm this is the minimalist.
I wrote, "I like The Nightingale better, but this one still made me sob." Yeah, Kristen Hanna has a way of making you cry your head off and you feel better about it. And this one's all about this family that moves to Alaska, but there's tension and you just keep waiting for something horrible to happen, and it's just she just guts me. So I think I'm a fan now. This is the second one I read of hers now, and I think
great.
I think I'm a fan. I think
so.
I have
You
to read
like
them
to
all.
cry with books?
I do.
Okay.
I like to feel I always say make me laugh or make me cry. Make me feel something.
Right.
Even throw it across the room. Even if I have to if I'm I hate this book. I have a friend who still gives those books 5 stars because she's like, you know what? I felt something. So, I hated it. I threw it across the room, but I get 4 stars or 5 stars because you made me feel something. So, make me laugh or make me cry. That's definitely my criteria.
Okay. I like it.
All right, what's next on your list?
Okay. The next one is also an older book. It's a YA mystery called One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. Now, I had heard of this book a couple years ago, and it wasn't me rebelling against reading it. It just was I don't know that I'd like it. And so my daughter started listening to the audiobook, and she was like, "Mom, this book is really good." So I got the audiobook and listened to it when we were driving a lot back and forth to the lake. And so, it's very good. And I like the audio version because there are 4 teens in the book that have first-person narrative, and there's a different narrator for each one. And my narrator was one of the narrators.
Oh,
so
right?
she started, I didn't know that. So she started talking, and I'm in the car with Jenna, and I'm like, "Jenna, that's Shannon. That's Shannon."
That's
so excited. Yeah. But it was really good. It kept me guessing. It was a really great, well done mystery. It was one of those books that made me a little jealous. I wish I could execute something like this.
That is one of the few books,
and inspires me to do better. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the few books I have listened to on audio.
Oh, okay.
And so I agree. The audio was really I've never actually read it.
Oh, okay.
But
I didn't read it. I listened to it.
Well,
yeah.
and then I own the book because I think I'd gone to like a book signing or something and met the author and got it signed or something and brought it home, put it on my shelf, and never read it because I'd already listened to it. But over Christmas break, my 13-year-old wanted a book to read.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, you know what? Try this one.
Yeah.
See if you like this one. And she devoured it in about 48 hours. And every time I'd see her, she'd come out of her room. She's like, because it has so many twists.
Yes.
And so she'd be like, Mom, this just happened. Like, what's next? I'm like, keep going. Like,
keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a great, if you had like a mother-daughter book club or something like that, like, it would be a great book to read.
Yeah, because both my daughters read it and I read it and we discussed it.
Yeah.
So she has another mystery that came out after that, which Julia listened to. But there's a sequel with those characters, like the sister, that's coming out, I think, after the first of the year. So my girls are really excited about that. So.
Yeah.
And they're not really into mysteries so much. So I was really excited that they were, reading it in my genre.
Well, someone who writes mystery. I can see
Yeah.
why you would like that one.
So what do you have next?
Okay, so this is probably my whip out book of 2019. So I have a friend who she talks about everywhere she goes, she carries a copy of a book in her purse and she whips it out and gives it to people as you need it. And so I always laugh that I have a whip out book, even though I really don't have one in my purse. But it's called Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb, and it's nonfiction. She's a psychoanalyst who ends up going into therapy herself. Like, she needs to go to therapy.
Okay.
It's already been optioned for like a TV show with Eva Longoria and stuff. But it was like a New York Times bestseller. I think yesterday she just put, like, I think at the beginning of the year she's like number 3 on the New York Times bestseller list right now. She did a TED Talk around it. I mean, it's all about kind of her. I don't want to like give it away, but like, she has to go to therapy, and then she kind of pulls the veil back on what it's like to be a therapist in the chair now, like as the patient. And I just think that she has a lot of really good insights on kind of, it's self-help, but it's very conversational, and it's very like I think it's a very good job. Like, if you don't normally read nonfiction, it reads like fiction. Like, that's why it's been optioned to be a TV show. Because it's her whole story. And so I really enjoyed that.
All right, I'm going to read this.
Yeah. I the other night we were out for drinks with a bunch of girls, and I like had them all pull out their phones and buy it. Because they were all talking about like relationship problems, you know. Right, and so I was like, you have to read this book. It will empower you. It will teach you. It all, like, because it's stuff you already know, but it's just good to hear it from somebody else.
Right. Okay. What is...
Maybe You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb. And then another one, I'll tell you one more.
Yeah, you do that while I'm like buying this.
Another one that I had this year that I think everybody was talking about, that was sort of the one that I wasn't sure would live up to the hype, but it really did, was Verity by Colleen Hoover. Did you read that one?
I have not read that one.
So I've never read Colleen Hoover. I know, of course, who she is.
Yes.
And I'm in like one of her reading groups just because I'm like to watch what authors do with their people and, you know, see what I creep on there.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I do
like,
too.
I creep in there and see what she does with her fans, because she has some crazy rabid fans. And I mean crazy in a very positive way.
Yes,
like, they are
just
like, I'm jealous.
Is she in her, are you in her group? Her reading group? Yeah, the cohorts. Because I'm not in there, but I know that they like do like fundraising and that kind of stuff.
They're super supportive. They're like, and they love her and everything she does. And so they were the ones talking about Verity, and I kind of thought, okay, but you girls are like fangirls, like,
right?
You know, like you go in my group too, and they'll tell you that People on Punch Through is the best book they've ever read,
right?
You know,
right?
And so I thought, I don't know, really, and I, you know, but it was like I finally decided. I was like, okay, I'm gonna read it, and so I downloaded it on my Kindle. I read it in 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
It is the words I wrote here, it is a mind fuck. Oh. I mean, it is just...
Okay.
From what I hear, it's very different than what Colleen normally writes.
Okay.
But it was like, talk about twists and turns and like not knowing where the hell you were going to end up. Like, it was crazy town.
Okay,
so,
I'll have to read that one too.
Yeah, and it lived up to the hype. So that was the one I have.
Okay, cool.
What do you have next?
Okay, so the next one I have is part of a series by Melinda Lee. And so, like, my readers know that I really love Melinda Lee. Like, I was... first part of last year, I was having, like, I called it my DGS book club. And so every month I featured a book that I'd read and absolutely loved. And so you would think that would make this list easier, but a lot of those books were actually books that I'd read before.
Right.
Yeah. Didn't work.
Same with my book club.
Yeah, but I think this was book 5 or 4. I can't remember. It's Secrets Never Die, and it's in her Morgan Dane series. And I just loved it because Morgan, she's an attorney. She started off as a prosecuting attorney, assistant prosecuting attorney. But when the book starts, she's like not working, and she's about to go back to that. And then she, the very first book is about her helping a neighbor who's accused of murder, and then she becomes a defense attorney. So she like flips it, and so she's got 3 kids, and she's widowed. So there was a lot I could personally relate to, and I really like the fact she was a mother because it's kind of unusual to find mysteries where there's a mother.
Right.
So, and she wasn't like putting her children in danger.
I was going to say, who is it bad?
She had a really great support system for her kids. So, yeah, I really enjoyed that series. It ended last fall, and she's starting a new one. But, yeah, that was one of my favorites. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do I have next? Then... another probably old book that everybody else has probably already read, but I did read Daring Greatly by Brene Brown this year.
Oh, yeah. See, I've been meaning to read something by her.
You know, you see all her inspo quotes, and she has, like, all this great advice and stuff, and I kind of felt like, well, how much have I missed? You know, like, really, come on.
Right.
But because I am writing sort of more of a self-help book this year, I've been reading a lot more self-help, and I will say she is the best of the bunch. Like you were saying earlier, you were jealous of the twists and turns. I am jealous of how she can empower people to just be vulnerable, take chances, own who you are, all these things. Like she just wraps it up in such a, and I am a person who hates things wrapped up in bows, but she wraps it up in a bow and like gives you some tough love and kicks your ass, but then like tells you you're special and perfect and you believe it.
I need this person in my life.
She's pretty fucking amazing. I have to say. I'm late to the party, but I'm a convert. So I am a new devotee of hers.
Okay, so have you watched her Netflix series?
I haven't
No,
yet.
I haven't either.
I had to read the book first.
Right. I've seen some YouTube videos and I think a TED Talk
I've watched her TED Talk and her TED Talk, and that was kind of why I didn't want to read the book, because I felt like I think she covered it all. But the way she can turn a phrase, too. She's just a beautiful writer, too. Gotcha. Which I think is kind of rare in self-help. And so I think she just did a really great job. So I like that one.
Okay. My next book is nonfiction.
Woo!
And it's called Dear Writer, You Need to Quit by Becca.
Damn! I know, it's Denise's Without book.
Yeah, it's my Without book.
And all the writing conferences she goes to.
She actually wrote this book after she went to RWA. Well, she has several, like Dear Writer, You're in Burnout. There's something else. And then she also has this course called Write Better Faster.
Okay.
And so I actually took that in November, and it was very illuminating as to like you do a lot of personality tests and like where you fit on the Myers-Briggs, not just what your thing is, but what your percentages are. But I read Dear Writer Quit first, and it's all about it's more like quit like being hard on yourself, quit trying to do what everybody else is doing, quit comparing yourself.
Love it.
Because someone writes a certain way doesn't mean you need to write that way, because our brains all work differently. And so I really enjoyed it. And that encouraged me to take her Write Better Faster course in November. And it was just like mind blowing. It was like she was literally in my head and knew what was going on, like how I worked and what I did, and it was kind of trippy because like she's like, right, I'm a INFP, and so she would say in her lecture after we took our test, she would say, okay, so I know you NFPs are skimming this, or your NPs are skimming this, and I'm like, oh my god,
she knows it. Did she see me?
Yeah. And so like then after you do this course, you have a one-on-one class with her, and that's the conference call that I had with her. And she was like, that's just the way NPs work. She goes, you're not like missing things, your brains just know how to look for the important stuff, and you can read through like that kind of text faster. So yeah, anyway, I was really, and like I liked it so much that I'm going to do, there's a 34 personality trait that you take this test, and so like my top personality trait is empathy, and so like they delve into that more in this course that I'm going to do in March. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, so it was like really like, so that one book like opened up this whole thing for me. So
well, and I have to say, if you are a writer, then you should probably listen to Denise because she always recommends really good writing books. So.
Oh, yay.
And she wrote a really good one. So I wrote that one down.
Okay.
That one sounded really good. Okay, and then this year, I don't know, I think maybe because of like what's happening in our world, but I've been reading a lot of dystopian and future women in peril kind of thing,
Yeah.
So I have a whole bunch of those. I did The Book of the Unnamed Midwife by Meg Allison, The Farm by Joanne Ramos, The Testaments by Margaret Atwood, and The Power by Naomi Alderman. And some of them were hopeful, and some of them were,
pretty dire.
Yeah, pretty much like, we're all going to die.
I haven't read any of those. So I was kind of leery of the Testaments because I just didn't know if it could live up to The Handmaid's Tale.
It does.
Okay.
It really does. And it, I'm a really bad reviewer because I want to tell you the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yes, read it. It does.
Does it follow do you watch the series?
I did. I'm not all caught up on this season yet, but I don't know if it follows. I think, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay.
And then, the one I will say though, the one that probably gave me, the one that gives me life is The Power by Naomi Alderman. Women wake up one day and they have the power to electrocute people. And so,
oh man!
So you can guess who they go out and electrocute. And so I was like, yes. But it was interesting because once the power shifted, does power make you bad, or is it male toxicity that makes society bad?
Yeah, and that's really great.
Yeah, so I thought they did a good job with that. But and then the last book I have on my list is A Cry in the Dark by Denise Grover Slade.
Oh, hey! Oh, well, thank you.
That is my that was the last book I read last year. So
I'm very honored. Thank you.
And what I wrote was, I love Carly, and I think this new series might be my favorite.
Oh.
And I said, sorry, Rose.
Yeah. No, that's okay. It's kind of weird because as much as I love Rose, I love when people say that they like something else better than her. Even anyway, yeah.
Well, and how many Rose can you write? Like, we're ready for Carly now.
Yeah, right? I know. I'm halfway done with her next book. I stopped it to write my paranormal women's fiction. So, and I think it's even better. I personally think it's even better than the first. There's like much more hardcore mystery in there. So,
very good. Yeah, very cool.
Wow. How did you read so much more than I? Like, I'm not even halfway through my list. What happened?
Well, because I grouped all my dystopian women in power
there you
books
go.
together.
Okay, well, I'll just go through mine.
Yeah.
My big hype book that I was really scared to read and didn't think would live up to the hype was Where the Crawdads Sing. Oh my gosh, that book stuck with me for days.
Have you read the true story behind it? Like behind the
No.
author? Now you need to go down that rabbit hole.
Okay.
Because I know the story of the author, but I haven't read the book yet. And
okay.
So
she obviously knew her stuff because
Yeah.
it was more literary fiction. I listened to an audiobook and like because of the descriptions of the plants, and I'm like, I would never write that. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know how to research
Go
it.
down her rabbit hole now and
Okay.
see how it lines up with that book. Because I'm anxious to read that book. I just haven't got to it yet.
Okay, and then the next book I read this was all on my trip to North Carolina and in Tennessee last August. The next one I listened to was The Husband's Secret from Leanne Moriarty.
Yeah.
I had never read anything of hers, and I loved Big Little Lies, so I read Big Little Lies and actually liked it. It was different than the TV show.
Very different.
And I liked The Husband's Secret better. So, yeah. And I was like, and so I went through this phase of, well, I could write like in that kind of vein. Like that's a lot like my stories. Yeah. So anyway, so then my poor editor heard a couple of pitches from me that I never followed through with. Okay, so then the next is also, I have a mix of trad and self-publishing. The next trad is The Hating Game. It's a romance by Sally Thorne.
I like that one too.
I love that book.
Yeah.
Like I read that book in one night. So I was looking for a book to recommend because I had like a genre I wanted to do each month when I was doing my book club, and I was looking for a romance, and I had read several that I liked, but then somebody's like, oh, read this one, and like on a blog, like on a Facebook post, and I downloaded it when I got home from picking the kids up from school was late, like after 5. We ate dinner, and like it was like a long, like we have long dinners. So like I actually like started reading it while we were still at dinner, and like never do that. I read that sucker. Like I moved to the sofa, and I needed to be working, but I just read that book till I was done. I just love that book. So anyway, highly recommend it. It's funny and everything. So the next are indie books, because I read a mix of both indie and I think the reason I have more tried this time is because of the audiobooks. Like yeah, sometimes indies don't have audio.
Yeah.
So what the next one that's indie is The Emperor's Throne, which is by my bestie Shannon Mayer, and it's not just because she's my bestie, but she's like the queen of urban fantasy and like fighting and like twisting things around, and I'm like, how did she come up with that? And so it was the end of her Desert Curse series, and it was, she did, like sometimes the finale of a series just doesn't live up, but that one totally lived up, so that's why that one's on there. Another is Maeve's Girls, which is by my co-author Christine Gale. It's a women's fiction, and it's about the main character. There's 4 sisters, and they're all in their 40s. And their mother dies, and they like are there dealing with the aftermath of her. And she was quite the character and lived in Louisiana. So it was a really well done. Really, I thought it showed a really great dynamic of sisters and jealousy and favorites and all of that. And there's different personalities. And then the last one is a paranormal romance, and it is by Eve Langley. And it's called A Demon and His Witch, and it's older. Like it's like I think at least 5 or 6 years old. But I know her. Like I've never met her, but I know her on Facebook, and I think it was on sale, and so I grabbed it, and it was hilarious. It was really super light and fun and not very deep, but it was just like so entertaining, and I laughed.
Oh,
so,
good!
Yeah, so
I like that. The title made me laugh, so I definitely think I need to read that one.
So yeah. So that's it. I did it. Yeah.
All right. Well, we are out of time.
We are.
But if you have read a book this year that you would recommend to us.
Yeah. I'm always looking for book recommendations.
Please let us know, because we'd like to read whatever it is you guys want to read. Let us know what you're reading. And I think that's it. That's all we have time for.
Yeah. So if you're not a subscriber, be sure to click subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. We think we're pretty much everywhere at this point. It's hard for us to know who's listening because we're spread out in so many places. We can't like look at.
And they don't show us stats. Like, they don't show us how many people have downloaded. Yeah. My husband was asking me this morning. He's like, how many? I was like, I don't know.
I know. It's kind of weird because, like, as authors, we're able to look at rankings and sales.
And we live and die by those stats.
Yeah, and we have no idea. So, I don't think we're speaking into the void, though, because...
No, there's at least a lady who's watching YouTube.
Yeah.
And I did have an uncle who downloaded it on Christmas Day, and then he texted me the next morning. He was like, when you guys start talking about poise pads, like, you lost me. And I was like, I'm not surprised. But to me, that's a 5-star recommendation for everybody else. But yeah, so if you are listening to us, let us know where you're listening to us.
Yeah, let us know what platform. Then we'll know,
we'll at least have some idea.
Yeah. So, okay. Thanks, well, you guys have a great week.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Hi, Denise here. I know you're sad because the podcast episode is over and now you have to wait an entire week to hear us again. But guess what? You don't have to wait. You can listen to one of our audiobooks. Like to listen to true crime podcasts? I've got several mystery series to choose from. Or maybe you prefer to listen to podcasts about The Bachelor. Check out one of my rom-com series. You can find these audiobooks and many more at Audible, Apple Audiobooks, or check out my website, DeniseGroverspank.com, and click on audiobooks in the menu at the top. Happy listening!